just got to tell you, I've just ridden one of the most incredible descents that I've ever done on a road bike. It's on my Strava, I'll upload it, I hope it's saved. If you like clean roads, remote areas and smooth surfaces, you've got to come do this loop I've just done. I'm going to upload it on Strava as the best of Portugal. I'm so pumped. It was such an amazing descent. So SRAM's new Force AXS is lighter, quieter, more ergonomic, can be spec'd with or without power solutions, and is very easy on the eye. Earlier this year, I was lucky enough to drop into Portugal to chat with some of the SRAM road crew and ride the new Force AXS.
First, to start off, the major update is to the new hood ergonomics for new Force AXS. Our approach to ergonomics is designing the right tool for the job, regardless if you're riding on the road, descending on single track, riding gravel. We have one lever that will span the usage for riders. You'll notice that the hood profile, it's very similar to our rival AXS hood shape. And this was, intentional. We got a lot of feedback when we launched Rival AXS of the improvements that we made, which, improved finger wrap. I've got pretty large hand sizes. Be able to increase clearance underneath the hood by creating, slightly shallower hood. Helps reduce hand fatigue over rough terrain, less having to squeeze and hold onto the lever, just providing a comfortable, compact hood shape. Really focused on, providing consistent access to the brake lever itself. So it's a carbon fiber brake lever with a new shift paddle profile. This was really designed so that you don't brake into your knuckles, which there's chances over technical terrain of being able to brake into your knuckle or even to the drop of the handlebar. By using a 2.5 allimeter key here, the rider is able to dial in the reach to be able to customize it to just their hand size overall. And we actually eliminated one of the wired auxiliary ports that was on previous generation. By eliminating that port that you would plug in a wired blip in the past, again, helped us reduce the overall diameter of the hood. But again, we've now, at the introduction of wireless blips, the rider can go from having one auxiliary shifter to having 6 auxiliary shifters on their bikes, and you can use that for sprinter buttons, climbing buttons, clip-on aero bars, or even just a full-on triathlon. Certainly saw one of the biggest improvements that we can make for Force AXS was improving overall front shifting performance. You'll notice here these are very similar to our top-of-the-line red level style chainrings. They're fully integrated chainring design out of one piece. And that helps improve overall stiffness, and we're able to shed some significant weight and machining in shifting features onto the ring itself. This here in my hand is the integrated power meter solution. I think at that force level consumer, we're all coming to expect power to come on our bikes, and we're providing an integrated solution that really taken a lot of our technology from the red level and bringing it down to a price point that really, makes an impact for the end consumer. By expanding the range and the usage of New Force, we really wanted to elevate it to be race ready, all the way down to, be able to cater to realistic, capable riders, with being able to expand the range of gearing with the 5037, which previously was reserved for the red level user in the past, or the pro levels. So by introducing a 5037, riders can build a force bike that can go, in the fastest group rides and be competitive road racing, as well as all the way down to our 4835 and 4633 gearing will be integrated as well. That 4633 is a great all-road, but even your 2x gravel setup. But yeah, it caters to the full range of riding. So with the introduction of AXS starting in 2019, we took an approach to gearing that we wanted to consistently have a consistent jump between the small ring and big. So we went with a 13 tooth jump which this in my hand is the 46-33 combination, and then 48-35 and 50-37. By maintaining that 13-tooth jump, we're able to consistently have upshift performance throughout every gearing combination. And what that means by reducing the jumps between the two, and what may sound as though those are quite small chain rings, we've actually shifted that range to the cassette, being a 1028, a 1030, and a 1033, and a 1036. So riders are executing fewer front shifts, you're able to stay in that big ring longer as you crest a climb, and that really helps improve efficiencies overall. The other thing too is, it comes down to proper setup is really what comes down to performance, and little things that really aren't seen typically on the end consumer, but a tool like this that snaps into the front derailleur cage really helps at the factory level, but also on the shop room floor. And what that tool is used for, it actually helps sit the derailleur on the teeth profile themselves, and that ensures that the height is set up properly for the cassette, or for the chain rings, excuse me, as well as the angle of the derailleur. And that gets a good starting base for any of the mechanics that are setting up the derailleur, because of course you can have the best shifting and the best integration into the the power meter and the chainring design, but it requires it to be set up properly, and we're helping to make it be done so as seamlessly as possible. The new rainbow finish, we should notice that this is a finish that we had reserved in the past for only former world champions and Olympic champions. It is worth noting this is a red chaining cassette. Just the way we're able to apply the finish to the single piece cassette here. This is a 33, but it fits seamlessly with the new design of New Force. We will continue to offer a nickel chrome cassette, which is the Force level, and that nickel chrome cassette, which is a hardened finish that helps improve the overall longevity of the cassette, as well as reducing running noise. But we really wanted to come out here with the launch of having the full bling, and this is with the rainbow finish. You see this ties in what we're calling internally our unicorn gray paint with our logo stacked up in our laser foil flags here. And what that, it just has a little bit of pop where I think, modern day roadies we all like to have a little fun on our bikes.
Aesthetics are important.
They are. It's style watts for sure. But biggest change with the rear mech, it's a single rear derailleur that can handle from a 1028, a 1030, 1033, and 1036. Really focusing on performance and versatility is one of the targets for New Force. That rear derailleur has a clutch mechanism using a fluid damper, which really maintains chain management over rough terrain, whether it's on the 2x setup, or that same derailleur, you can take the front mech off and run in a 1x setup, given that clutch mechanism. And that's really, we see a lot of closed course criterium riders, even road racers going 1x in triathlon as well. So fully capable rear derailleur, covers the range for whatever your discipline is.
Hi, my name is Keel Reinen, and I ride for SRAM Components, both a brand ambassador, but also started assisting the product development team a little bit in the past year with the creation of some new projects and some iterations to some existing products. So this collaboration was in an effort to get even more rider feedback to the company and be able to articulate it and hand it over to engineers in a digestible way so that they can then take that information and apply it to the group sets that you'll be riding in the future.
And how important is that? Is it to get that pro rider and hard riding feedback to the engineers early on in the pre-production cycle?
Yeah, timing is sort of everything, language and timing. And so if a rider comes in kind of too early in that iterative process, there's so many ideas being bounced around, and of course everybody has opinion of what a bike should or shouldn't be, or what suits their needs. And so that's maybe too early in the process, and as things get a little more refined and hashed out, and we kind of look at the new technology, then that feedback needs to come before the point at which pre-production is already occurring. If we want to make changes to the future technologies, we need to do so before all the gears, pun intended, are in place for that next generation. So making sure we have athletes testing the equipment, really early on to provide feedback so that any tweaks and adjustments can be made before they end up in the hands of consumers is super important. It also takes the right athlete, being able to speak the language, to understand the technical issues and the limitations of the existing technology. So, if you're going to invent something new, you need to understand the limits of what exists. And with all those things kind of combined, I'm hoping that we can really release what will be the next generation of really, user-friendly, user-centric equipment.
And your take on Force AXS, and how much of a role did you play in development of it?
Yeah, I did get to have my hands on it before Force AXS was released here, and when they were still making some iterations, various ergonomics, color changes, those types of things. And I do think it was a really good moment where there was still debate internally about which direction to go, but it was smaller, about smaller things, not the big picture. And so getting the chance to ride that, throw out my input, it felt like it had positive effects on the outcome of the equipment. And then getting to ride it post-production now together with the group here and see those changes come to life, of course, is super satisfying. And I think what Force AXS did so well was they took all of the best of red, the best technologies that provided really, professional level shifting. They added that at a second tier price point with an aesthetic that was really reserved for the pros previously. And I think that really follows the trend of what we're seeing with bikes, where people are demanding top level performance from a second tier group set, but they're also having a lot of fun with their bikes. They're taking them off-road, they're taking them on adventures, they're adding bags to them, they're adding flashy wheels, they're adding rainbow cassettes. So it's fun to have fun with your bike, and I think the Force AXS is really going to encourage riders to do more of that.
And lastly, we do have some South Africans who visit America.
Yeah.
What would be the go-to gravel route or must-ride gravel loop in America that you love and that you'd recommend?
I personally would recommend some variation of the 420 trail around the Olympic Peninsula. I'm partial since it's near my home, but the Olympic Mountains are quite remote, and they're a chance to sort of just get out away from everything and find yourself and maybe do a little bit of rediscovery and yeah, make sure you're self-sufficient, because there's not a lot of bike shops along the route.
Yeah, I'm not sure the picture will be like so good.
As chief engineer for the road drivetrain is to provide technical solutions to our customer needs as we develop our entire drivetrain.
Okay, and what is AX Downhiller doing developing road groupos?
Well, I figure if you're a good downhiller, you should be a good road cyclist too. It just kind of falls out.
So a couple riding impressions then on the new Force AXS. I tried hard to get it to do something weird, miss a shift or throw a chain. No luck. Even under power, the shifting is impressively slick. The biggie for me is the shallower hood. It's so comfortable. All in, Force AXS seems flawless, it's very stealthy and looks amazing. A word on Portugal. Put it on your bucket list. The riding is incredible, as are the pastries, the people, and the rich cultural heritage. So with Fiona, she's got a business here in Portugal, and if you're putting together a trip, you'd want to chat to Fiona because she's a guide and knows the roads like the back of her hand, been extremely valuable for this trip. So here's Fiona. Tell us about it, Fiona.
Hey, thanks so much. Yeah, so I've lived here 6 years. I have a company doing cycling holidays and tours here.
And yeah, never looked back. It's the best riding. It's the best riding in Europe here.
And you're from the UK, right?
I'm from the UK.
And what's the name of your business?
Ishape, Portugal.
Okay. And how many days in Portugal do you need to get the best of?
Oh, 7's probably a good number.
Okay.
Any shorter than like 4 or 5, and you're doing yourself a disservice. It's not long enough, but the more the better, for sure.
And will you offer like advice on like car rentals, accommodation, restaurants, all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, absolutely. So
Okay.
a lot of my tours are the full package, so I'd book transfers, hotels, arrange restaurants for them, advise on cafes, yeah, the lot.
So signing out from Portugal, thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, see you on the roads.